Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's AI news for Still Team Human for August 17, 2026. Today, we're going to dig into tips shared by Ray Dalio, founder of the world's largest hedge fund, Bridgewater Associates, and quote, sounding board for investors, according to Motley Fool, as reprinted in Yahoo. Dalio recently appeared on the Diary of a CEO podcast, and he said that the buzz about artificial intelligence has produced, quote, the classic signs of a bubble forming. So, when a bubble forms in the markets and an actual bubble, if you're blowing bubbles with your kids, it has to burst, right? Eventually, that bubble ends. While Dalio says AI could be transformative as a technology, as many of us already are aware, some stock prices have him remembering 1929 and the year 2000. And any of you who have studied history know exactly what those two dates mean. Those are the years that mark the start of the Great Depression and the dot-com bubble bursting, respectively. Motley Fool points out that the current CAPE numbers match up with those of the two downward spirals in the market. Don't worry if you don't know what CAPE numbers mean. I didn't either, and I'm about to explain it. So, CAPE is the cyclically adjusted price to earnings ratio, thus CAPE, and it describes a smoothing out of earnings for a 10-year period, which is adjusted for inflation. Currently, the CAPE ratio is near 41. This is higher than what it was in 1929 when the market crashed and we had the Great Depression. And it is very close to 44.2, which was what we saw at the height of the dot-com bubble. So the article points out that in 1929, people thought there was going to be permanent prosperity because of industrialization. Remember, at the turn of the century, just 30 years earlier, people started to use machines in their work. People got much more efficient and productive, and businesses could grow at a much faster clip. And therefore, they thought this was just going to continue into eternity, especially because we'd keep coming up with new technologies, working ever faster, and everything would be better. Of course, nothing is forever. And instead, the Great Gatsby parties had to come to an end. Confidence fell, the banks failed, and the Great Depression started. And if you're young like me, your grandparents lived through the Great Depression and they watched every penny till the day they died. I can remember my grandparents using, Tupperware that was not really Tupperware, but that was stuff they got from buying products at the supermarket. They would tuck away money literally under their mattresses, very Italian stereotype, but it was all because of what happened during the Great Depression. That was a worldwide phenomena. It affected my relatives in Italy as well. It's, combined with the war then, which is what led to the war, really. It's what led my family to the United States. And in 2000, which I lived through and can remember very well, it was the start of my career. I had just graduated college. Everyone and their mother with a .com in their business's name received extraordinary valuations without earning it. They got money just for making up a good story about how their company would eventually grow. It was all total fiction. And when people caught on, the bubble burst. I remember covering these .coms for Business Week. I sometimes reviewed these businesses, the websites themselves, actually. And I remember wondering, there was a portion of the review where I was supposed to explain how this company was making money and what their, motto was and all of this. And really, there was not a lot there. And I remember thinking, how is this going to last? Some of them were just content websites, and there was no explanation on how they would ever earn money other than, gaining traffic and getting some advertisement, which was far less than what was expected for them to earn. and therefore the bubble burst, and we all know the story. All those crazy websites went away. However, all is not lost this time around, and the warning from Dalio is to not press the panic button. And Motley Fool gives some good recommendations. I'm going to read a quote to you now that is a total recommendation. Quote, the most prudent response is not one of panic selling, but rather disciplined preparation. Maintain diversification across industries, especially durable sectors such as consumer staples, and hold sufficient cash to meet financial responsibilities without forced stock sales. Later, the website suggests treat the AI revolution as one more cycle rather than a generational exception. End quote. I think this is excellent advice every day, and not just when we're talking about investing in stock markets, but also in talking about our future careers and how AI fits into it, and also our lives and how we're going to use AI to revolutionize our own life, to have more time on our hands, and all of that. We have to use the technology, but be weary, be skeptical, and not let the excitement get ahead of us. We also have to maintain our humanity, as we always say here at Still Team Human, and think about the practical. It's telling you, Motley Fool, that is, to maintain your investment in durable sectors, the kinds of things that consumers are always going to need, and make sure you have enough cash. Keep that cash under the mattress if you need to, like my no, and be ready when the storm hits. I think that's all great advice any day of the week. I hope that you will keep that advice and hold close to it. And we will talk to you again tomorrow with the next edition of today's AI news. Thank you so much.